All right, y'all. Shabbat shalom. Here with the Shabbat class. Not really able to go out today, man. It's crazy thunderstorming out here, man. Power going in and out. But I got a class, man, talking about some of these new things, some of Satan's new devices, some of the things that are coming down technology wise. That, it's going to change the world we live in. All right, it's going to change the world we live in. And I don't necessarily know if it's in the next 2 years or the next 200. You know what I'm saying? But if we're still here, things are going to change very drastically. Very drastically. Are things going to change? Really, they're already changing. Really, I'm seeing people do things I've never seen. I've never seen recorded throughout history. I can't say that because I don't know all the history. I barely know any history, to be honest. But the little I do know, I haven't seen nobody doing the things that we're doing here today in these modern times. Let me see if I can load this video up. See if it downloaded. Oh no, I already downloaded. I had to download it already. And we're gonna go here. So I'm gonna show y'all a video. I'm gonna show y'all this video. It may be a little choppy, but you'll get what I'm saying. You get what's going on when you see the video. You will get what's going on.
It's a court.
And I want you to know too that even what you just seen, he's repeating himself over and over. But it is a little choppy, but he is repeating himself over and over again. Hold on, let me add brothers in. Verizon playing with the internet a little bit. Shalom, brothers.
Shalom, up.
Hey, shalom. All right, y'all about me outside, Brakatah. Shalom.
Yeah, Brakatah. So let's see if we can get it just to play a little bit. Oh man. Yeah, it's too much. It's too big of a file. I would have to load it. I would probably have to load it on a YouTube
It's a
channel.
court. It's a 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 corn in my tooth. Rose. I want row. Gym. I'm about to go to the gym. I want glizzies. It's a court. 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 It's a court.
I love you too. Thanks, Bubbly.
Eat that corn. Eat that corn. Eat that corn. Eat that corn. Nigga. Is that a DJ? Smell roses. Nigga. Eat that corn. Eat that corn. Motherfucker. Come out. malfunction. Kobe. Malfunction. AI needs more batteries.
Achoo, thanks, bubbly. Ice cream, lick. Ooh, butter pecan, please. Whoa. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's get some shoes. It's Friday!
All right, y'all. Shalakia. Yeah, I know it's a little chopped up. When I load a video up in there, I don't know, I don't know if my internet connection not fast enough, but usually I would have to, I should have loaded it to another YouTube channel and then we watched it from that YouTube channel. But, you got the gist of it. You probably don't know what's going on and why these people are doing this. But, shalom, brother Michael.
Hey, shalom, bro.
But what I was trying to show is that these folks are doing these videos on TikTok and they acting like AI characters, and people are giving them corn. That's what it seems. I don't know the whole logistics of it, but it seems like people will give them. You spend money. I guess people are sending them money or gifts in the form of like corn or chili or whatever emoji that they want to do. And these people react a certain way to the emoji. It's like you seen the Joker eating the corn, eat that corn, eat that corn, eat that corn. And so it's a form of controlling the individual with these microtransactions. So you can have a person at the screen and say you had two people, I could pay $5 and tell them, hey, slap that person. And they might slap the person. We see how I even seen a brother that was he was acting like he had on a Superman costume, and he was in the streets. He was outside. And he was doing that whole little TikTok thing and with people, around him. And then one brother actually grabs him and say, bro, I just seen you on TikTok, man. And I came down here. Like, you need protection. You need to be careful out here doing this. But again, these worlds, this stuff is combining. This augmented reality, these VR goggles, and there's just nothing. Well, first off, what do y'all think will make somebody do that? I know it's a clear answer. It ain't really. And how much would it take you to do it?
Shalakia. The question, first question you asked is to answer that question is what make people do that, and it's simple: money, right?
God.
Money and attention, fame, whatever, right? And what would make me do that? Absolutely nothing. Nothing would make me do that. And I yield.
You say some of these folk making $2,000 a day. $2,000 a day to eat that corn and smell the roaches and to dress up like the Kool-Aid man
I was gonna ask, hey, I was gonna ask you, was that who that was supposed to be? The Kool-Aid man.
The Kool-Aid man.
No, but answer your question. The brother was right. That gratification, man. People feed off that stuff or what others think.
Yeah.
See it all the time, man. On social media, even when people post their food, don't get enough likes, man. I feel some type of way.
Yeah. Come on.
But when it comes to that VR thing, I've been in one before, and it made my head hurt, man. I used to play games a lot, but I had never did the VR. And man, you be all over the living room, running in the walls. It's just crazy, man. I hear it.
Yeah, con. And that's just the beginning stage. Like I said, we just getting into this thing. They just had I just want to talk briefly. I just want to talk a little bit first before we get into it. About some of this new stuff that I've been seeing. You had everybody going viral with these AI images that was generated that will make you look skinny, make you look younger, and show you how you looked. I had a buddy of mine, his son is what's the best word? His son is got a disability. And I think he had a stroke maybe when he was younger. But this AI, and he's been raising them by himself, he like 17, 18 now. And but the AI image showed him his son and what he would look like if that never happened to him. And he said it had him crying. It had him crying. And I'm only saying this, and we seen all the people who well, that's what I seen. I seen a lot of people going up there, man, I gotta get back like this. Or I need to, man, if I was this skinny, man, I would boo, boo, boo. And I would do. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, this is just a testing ground. They are gonna allow you to be that way. When you go into that metaverse, you go into that new world, you'll be able to walk around like that. Even if you 400 pounds, you'll be able to walk around there like you done got you one of them BBLs. You'll be able to doll yourself up the way you want to doll yourself up. And it's going to have your face on there. It's going to be moving just like you. It's going to be moving like a real character. And people are going to get addicted. I think people are going to start staying in those worlds. People are going to kill themselves in these worlds. Also, people are going to kill themselves in real life being kicked out of these worlds that Satan is bringing ourselves into. So, even with the eating peppermint, I see my partner mom. I see my partner mom doing that, man. I seen one of my friends I grew up with, mom, and he's in the top 1%. Okay, he drives a G-Wagon. And his mama was on there doing eating the chili peppers and eating the corn. And I'm like, man, what is this work? What is this thing coming to? And so we'll get into it a little bit, man. Navigating this new age that will come. And Apple just released their new VR headset. I forget how much it was. I think it was ridiculous. I think it was like $3,600 or something like that. I forget how much they say these darn goggles are. But Apple just released theirs. And if Apple, man, Apple didn't just release these for no reason. They ain't just released this for no reason. This is the stuff is gonna be these kids are gonna be dealing with. What is the metaverse? All right, the metaverse is a vision of what many in the computer industry believe is the next alteration. What is that? Iteration of the internet. A single shared, immersive, persistent 3D virtual space where humans experience. I can't see. And it says, hold on, let me zoom it in. Humans experience life in ways they could not in the physical world. So it's going to give you ways, it's going to give you things to experience that you couldn't, that you weren't able to do. Just like, man, come on, man. Like if my partner with his disabled son could play basketball together in another world. He put on the goggles, he got on the goggles, and now they up there playing basketball together in this metaverse. It's priceless.
Hey,
But go ahead,
and that's kind of being mild about it. You know, a lot of these superstar model women's gonna be in that metaverse, brother.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into. Is that? Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. But with all technology, there's there's the good and there's the bad. You know what I'm saying? With everything, and we've always throughout the history of these things happening, even throughout the church. You know, when they first brought in the organ, they thought the organ was of the devil. When they first brought and I know no it wasn't, but it was a little bit. It did change up some stuff a little bit. Just like the music. People told the music, oh man, y'all making that music like that, and it didn't affect it like you thought, but it was Satan's music a little bit. And we've gotten a little worse, just gradually, to the point where we at now, where we have, you got people just pretty much butt naked on the stage now. You got them pretty much, anything goes, man. X-rated videos, they got the uncut videos. Now they never would have made no uncut videos in the 60s, 70s. Start ushering it in with that loop movement, that booty shaking music, and to the point where we at now, where we at a point where like I say, they got the uncut videos, and you can cuss and you can be naked and you can and these things can be watched by anybody. It can be watched by children. They can be watched over and over and over and over by children. So it has gradually, all of these things have came with problems. All technology, it has it's just like medicine. It's gonna have, it'll cure this, but you're gonna get this, and you're gonna have all of these complications, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how they can usher this stuff in, because we'll have good moments like that where my partner is playing with his child in another world like that, but also it's gonna be very dark.
Hey, like
Go ahead,
Hey, it's a movie called Surrogates.
It's called Cherokee.
Surrogates, like a
Surrogates. Okay, come on.
Bruce Willis playing now. And this the plot of the movie. It's saying in the near future, people live their lives free of pain, danger, and complications through robotic representation of themselves, called surrogates.
They got Bruce Willis in it. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking.
I didn't. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead, out.
I was just saying a lot of the people, they buy these robots, man, and go into that metaverse and live their life through the robots.
Absolutely.
And when they at the end when they wake up, not telling the movie, but when they wake up, everybody you either handicapped, you sickly, or unattractive, and they try to escape that world going to these robots.
Yeah. And even there, man, it's gonna start that way, but then it's gonna get so dark, and it's gonna get, But I gotta go back and watch that. I didn't know the name of that movie, but I do remember that. And that's exactly, it's like, man, this is exactly where they putting us. And it's possible right now. We at a point where that stuff is possible. And most of these people are going to be living in fake worlds. And so when we say things, well, I don't want to, we got to get into the class. But when we say things like, separate yourself from the world, in that movie, Bruce Willis is like the only one that's a real person. Everybody else, he actually catching criminals in a fake world where everybody else is using these robots and stuff, man. And you may be This may be the world that we living in, where we walking around or we get involved in it. And this is why we have to talk about Holocaust.
Hey,
Yeah.
Salaka,
Go ahead, brother.
one more thing, brother. To let me back what you were saying. I remember looking at a movie about Hustler magazine back in the days, before the Playboy, well, Playboy magazine. And so remember Playboy magazine was kind of rugged for those times, and how little boys would go in the basement and look at the Playboy magazine and ooh and ahs, right? And then
Right.
they had this little boat that if you move it one way, the lady blouse will go up. If you move another way, it'll go down. You remember that? And then pornography. It just gradually started to implement this stuff slowly but slowly. And you see that will happen in the past as well.
Khan, absolutely. Shalom, sis. Absolutely, man. We gradually, and it's like I say, we say, nah, we defended it. Nah, it ain't say, even the video games, man, please. You would have said the video games was controlling me and da, but I did spend a lot of money and a lot of time playing them doing video games. And doing the microtransactions. And I'm gonna tell you this. Like that one dude was like, eat that coin. He's mimicking Grand Theft Auto. He mimicking a video game. And in a video game like Grand Theft Auto, you can do pretty much anything with your character. You can jump out a helicopter, hit your parachute out, and land on a boat, and slap a hooker off the boat and take her money. Like you can plan something. Like you can pretty much do anything in that world. And it's the number one selling video. It's the number one form of selling entertainment that's ever been released. Like it made a couple billion its first day when they released it. They have an unlimited budget. Matter of fact, the last Grand Theft Auto came out over 10 years ago, and they still playing it today. They still on that same game, and it's because of the freedom that you have, and people are role playing. You have what's that rapper name, man, from Detroit? I don't know his name, but he make his money they role play on the video game. But you don't have to do that now. You don't have to act like you're a police officer. You're gonna stay in the hospital while everybody go, and then somebody gets shot. They come to you in the hospital, and then y'all play the role. You're gonna be able to have a real character in what you feel like is a real world in the metaverse. But Holocaust, just totality of laws and ordinances that have evolved since biblical times to regulate religious observances and the daily life and conduct of Jewish people. Now I know we try to throw everything away that the little hats do. We try to throw everything away that the Christians do, but the little hats, in trying to observe our customs for so long, they've been through certain changes. They've been through all of these changes and developed, and it's not just from here. We can even see it. I don't know if I put that in here though. I think I was supposed to put it in here, but you can see it in the Torah also. When certain things come up, there are things that have to be, there are changes that have to be made. I don't know if y'all remember the story of the 4 sisters that went up to Moses. Y'all remember the story of the 4 sisters that went up to Moses. They didn't have an inheritance. They went to Moses. They pleaded to Moses. I think I had that class, Woman Plead Your Case. But they went up to Moses. Long story short, just to paraphrase for y'all. They went up to Moses, and they was like, hey, man, my father done died and didn't leave he didn't have no sons. We don't have an inheritance. Moses goes up to the Most High and asks him, what should he do? Anyway, it was concluded that the sisters do get the inheritance. Even though it wasn't no man there, the sisters get the inheritance. And so there was an adjustment made for certain situations. And this what Holocaust, these fence laws, or through certain advances, we gonna have to observe certain things and see, well, is this sin or not? When we get to a certain point where even standing in front of that screen like that, it's silly. It's silly it's you know, you gotta have some humility to do it, but you can't have no self-respect, and it's a loss of dignity, and psychologically that can do something to you. But can we say it's sin? Can we say it's sin to be doing that, as long as it's not making you observe, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So these are the things, eventually we're gonna have to have these conversations. Or again, man, people just gonna do their own thing and just feel like, hey, it's not really a big deal. We can do this, da 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 da. Well, I don't see it in the Torah, and so a lot of times we do that phrase there. I don't see. Well, show me it in the Torah. And brother, like, the Torah don't talk about no artificial intelligence. But brothers will throw that in. I haven't show me in the Torah where that is that. All right, be sober. 1 Peter 5:8. 1 Peter 5:8. If I can get a reader, please. Shalom, Sister Salisha. First Peter.
This book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
And in the sobriety, it don't necessarily have to just deal with drug use or drug abuse or alcohol abuse. You put them gargles on and you not aware, or you don't put them on and you just and your kids got them on and your family members got it on and you ain't did no research. You don't know what's going on. You don't know. You going to the grocery store and this is joker outside talking about eat that corn, and you don't know what's going on. You just trying to navigate this world. You thinking you gonna call the police on the brother. You could be sleep with that too, man. Just being, not knowing what's going on out here, not being vigilant. And you definitely don't know what's going on when you getting sucked inside of this world. And if we allow our kids to be sucked inside of this world, or our grandkids to be sucked inside of this world, we need to know what's going on. We need to be aware. We need to be vigilant, because in all of these new advances, we've lost something. We've gained something, but we lost something. We lost with social media. We lost a lot of personal communication. Well, jokers don't want to talk. Even myself, I don't. Jokers just don't want to talk. You don't want to talk like that. I don't like calling people. I don't like talking to people on the, on them little customer lines. You have to call people on the door and tell them you got an issue or whatever the case may be. I'd rather text them. I'd rather text them and say, hey, yeah, that woody wood. But I've lost some social skills dealing with social media. I can't even see how, a lot of communication with men and women or married couples, if y'all seeing each other post every day, it's no missing. You don't miss each other. It's like I seen you I went on the Dawn trip to Hawaii with you. I went to Dawn. I seen that baby get, I'm talking to you, but I ain't talking to, but you're not really talking to these people. You're not really building, you're not really building socially with these folks, man. It's fake. It's a placebo. Romans 12:1-2. And we can easily conform, man. We see everybody doing it. Joker's gonna be making some bread. Like I say, all them folks that we seen in that video, them people are making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money, and your kids, like, that's one of the issues today too, is that that's where the money's gonna be made. When AI comes in, you say, well, then they take all the jobs. They driving the cars, they making all the hamburgers, they all in the warehouse, they driving the trucks, they at the convenience stores, they at the grocery stores, they baking the cakes. When these things end up coming to pass, the way to make the where the jobs are gonna be at is gonna be on social media. That's gonna be where, and it's gonna be weird because nothing's like controlling somebody. See, that's like the billionaire's dream. If I can control one of these Negroes, if I can control one of these Asians, and make them just do it, just like that movie, The Toy. You know, eventually when you have everything, man, them toys ain't gonna get it, man. Them Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Ferris wheels and all that, none of that gets it. So we was talking about them jokers on that billionaire's boat. It's there so I can control a human. I can have a human navigate. I can play the game with a real human. I can play Grand Theft Auto with a real human being.
Yeah, it got Shalakia. Also, Total Recall as well was a movie like that. Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I got 5 kids to feed. Yeah, Romans. Did we read it? Romans 12:1.
This is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So that we don't be conformed, man. We be transformed with the renewing of the mind by these things that we're supposed to be meditating on. And if we get stuck inside of this other universe, we get stuck inside of these VR glasses, and it's gonna happen. You know, the crypto and all of that, all that's tied to that. It's gonna happen. It's not, crypto ain't going nowhere. It's gonna be there. But they gonna time and do. It's gonna be. They gonna time it when they time it. Let this mind be in you. Philippians 4:6, because that's ultimately what's happening. You letting Satan control you for a few dollars. There he hit. But we won't let Christ control us. We won't let this word control us. We won't give him access. We won't be a living sacrifice for the word. We buck at that thing. I was just talking to a sister earlier today on Facebook, and they had a hard time dealing with that. You know, those precepts, those verses about the women in the church and not usurping authority and so forth. And one of the questions, you know, just the questioning. She was trying to question in other things, but in the reality of it is, man, the church does more than just what church is. All right, they do a lot of other things: field trips, darn daycare centers, gymnasiums, you know, all kind of pagan activity, you know, all kind of plays and so forth. That, you know, back then they didn't do, man. The church was a place to go and praise and worship God, all right, and hear the word. And so with those things, you can't usurp authority over those things. But when you have certain things like cookouts at the end, and we confuse the two. Well, man, I can't be controlled of the cookout. I can't control the cookout. I can't control the kids in Sunday school and you know. But it's really just simple. It's really simple, but we complex. We have to make it complex because of the things that we so far from the biblical culture and the things that we've added to what we call the church. What was that? Philippians 4:6.
It's the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things of of good report. If there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things,
Go ahead.
those things which you have both learned and received, heard, and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you.
So we see here, man. Think on those things that are good, things of a good report. We got to meditate on those things and not necessarily these things of the world, and how we gonna entertain ourselves. And I say even the entertainment's changing, man. The TV ain't gonna be enough. The TV ain't gonna be enough. The restaurants aren't enough. You done ate every steakhouse. You done ate every tomahawk. All right, and so it's gonna be a new world, new metaverse for you to go and spend your coins and spend your money and pretend. And it's just like those BBLs, man. It's like, eventually people will value the fake. A lot of people gonna rather want the false reality than the real. So we gotta make sure that we're doing that, man. That we have that same mind that Christ had, and we use those examples that Paul showed us, that we see in the text. And any of those things that are good, any of those good reports, any of that virtue, if any powers in those things, any praise in those things, man, think on those things, and trust so that you can have that peace. Trust in the report, trust in the testimonies, so that you can have that peace. You're not going crazy out here and thinking that, you know what, I need to go out here and defile myself with the world in order to eat. Philippians 2:1-7.
It's Philippians chapter 2, verse 1. If there be therefore any consolation in Christ, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercy, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus, whom being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men.
So we gotta have that same mind in us, a mind of humility, not just thinking on ourselves. Well, no, I ain't gonna do it. Well, I'm straight. I ain't gonna put myself in a position to do it. But also bearing awareness for other brothers and sisters, that they don't fall victim to those things. Just making sure that we have that brotherly love, that like-mindedness. We on one accord, one mind, and we can't do this while bringing up that halakha. We can't do this if we're not having these discussions amongst each other. And I'm not just talking about amongst the body, but as a nation of people. If you go to a camp and then for a brother, you got a small young brother that's in there that's doing the darn, that got the VR glasses on, and he out there. We at camp and we out there teaching this giant unity camp, and we got brother out there with the little goggles on, and he lost in it, and we all may feel certain ways. We may all feel different ways. Some brothers may say, oh, well, you know what, maybe that is, brother probably in there sinning. He probably in there doing this. He probably in there buying on the Sabbath. Ain't no telling what the cow doing. And brothers may feel certain kind of ways about it, but if we discuss it, is it money? Is it real money? I guess, Are you really working on this? People are gonna be working in the metaverse. Is it really working? If you work, is it really working if you clocked in at the metaverse instead of in reality? Is it the same thing? Are you fornicating in the metaverse? Is it fornication in the metaverse? You know, even people having certain we go to Colossians 3:1. Even people having using these things for depression. I seen a video on that too, where and they've had this out a few years now, where they have text buddies that they can text, just like it had pen pals. And just like jokers, sisters be writing jokers in jail, and they be getting serenaded by these letters, and then eventually marrying their brother that's in jail, through that penship. But also, with today's time, they got an app that, it's just a text buddy that kind of, learns your name and learns some of the things you like through those conversations, and eventually back and forth. And now you're not even out here in the world looking for no other mate. You're not even socializing with other people. You got your buddy on your phone that you talk to, and you texting all day. And they're not saying no negative things. It's just saying everything you want to hear. And eventually the AI puts a face to it. And eventually they put a body to it. And at what point do we consider it to be sin? I'm not asking questions for them to be like answered. I'm just throwing things out here that we would have to evaluate. That it sounds like it's a long way away, but man, you don't know. Man, this AI been going so crazy so far, man. It done gained so much strength so far that, in this short time, man, you don't know, man. These jokers may have these jokers in their living room next year. I don't know. It may be next year, maybe 200 years. That's what I was saying earlier. But and it may not need to be addressed. But I think we need to just bring awareness, and that's pretty much what we're trying to do with this lesson here. We got the Colossians.
Book Colossians chapter 3 verse 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth.
Not on things on the earth, man. And that's, like I say, man, we say these things and they almost cliche to us. It's almost cliche to us. Our mind is focused on these things on this earth. But we got to make sure that we really believe the testimony, saying that these things, these great things that we have in the kingdom, that's waiting for us. That's been here from the foundation of the earth. That we'll receive these things. We have to believe that testimony. We have to believe that gospel. But if we don't really believe and we're moving out here for the world and being controlled by it because our affections are set on these things. And the more your affections are set on these things, the more you'll be controlled. And the more, you may not realize you're being controlled, but and the more your peace will be disturbed. It's just because, like I said, this thing is fragile, man. Protection. How do we protect ourselves? It's only about a few more slides, about 4 more slides. Ephesians 6:11 through 17. Ephesians chapter 6:11 through 17.
Ephesians chapter 6 and 11.
Okay.
And it reads, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, and to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Connor, we can break that, that arm of God. We can, that's a class in itself. You can break all those pieces down and make you a righteous class. But here, just summarizing, we need that whole armor of God, and we got to understand the devices of Satan, and understand that there are rulers of darkness in these places, man, that in this world that are controlling this world, that want your mind, that want your heart. That want to pull your heart away from the Most High. And the more they can get you to meditate and to be inside of their world, the more they can get you unfocused on those things that are above, the more they got you, the more they doing their job. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. And the easier it is for them to take you. And see, that's sometimes the humility, you need the humility on both ends. So you need the humility for you to follow Christ, for you to yield your members unto righteousness. You need a form of humility. But you also need that too. You can also get that humility beat down, and you get beat down to a point that same humility can be used by Satan to get you to follow him. And then he puff you up. See, a lot of jokers gonna get puffed up in that new world. They're gonna get puffed up in that metaverse. I don't know how you put the picture up. Like for me, I wouldn't even put a picture up. I look at it, but I wouldn't put it up and post it if it's not me. I'm not gonna post up something fake. I'm just gonna look at it. I say, okay, well, I need to get myself together and start getting yourself together. You can get yourself together. That's it. You can do it. You just gotta have the discipline.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, come.
Proverbs 4 and 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and preserve lips put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of the feet, and let all thy ways be established.
Ponder the paths of the feet, let thy ways be established. You know what I'm saying? Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. All right, you got to know, you got to have vision. So you talk about that, what's that verse where, we don't have to look it up, but without vision, the people perish. Without vision, the people perish. And if your vision is in a whole nother augmented reality, or if your vision is not the kingdom, not to get into the kingdom, then your feet gonna be pondering all which way. You're not gonna be able to really establish which way you need to go, because you constantly gonna be changed. You constantly gonna be shifted by these things in this world, man. But keep thy heart with all this. Guard thy heart, guard thy mind, guard thy subconscious with all diligence. All right, because out of it comes the issues of life, and where this world at now, man, it's more more depression than it's ever been, especially in this country, man. You know what's crazy? I seen a joker say, man, you know how much it costs to be in the top 1% of the world? What y'all think to be in the top 1% of the whole world, how much money you think you need?
Billions?
1% of the whole world. We gonna talk about the people out there in the deserts, in the jungle, in the China. You know, not in America. The top 1% of the world.
So I'll say probably about 20 billion, man, or somewhere up in that area.
Top 1% of the world. All the world. My money going in there too. Your money going in there. The jokers out there in Australia, the Alaskans, they money going in there.
Well, I know.
Shake Smith, all praise, brother.
I know when you look at the top, when you look at four top 100s, they ride in the hundreds of billions. I don't know who the top. I know when you look at Bill Gates and all them, they worth like about $100 the top 10.
Yeah. But I'm saying you take everybody's income and you average it out, right? You take everybody in the world's income, you average it out. What would be the top 1%?
Oh, sure. I don't know if I can count that high.
Yeah, nah. See, I think y'all, it's 32,000. If you make $32,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of the world. Because there are people that's making nothing. People don't have no. There's people in the world that don't have. And there's so many people that it's brought down to 32,000. But y'all had to look that up. I heard somebody say it. I ain't did the research, but I heard somebody say it on a show that the average to be in the 1%. When you're looking at it from a world standard, it's $32,000 a year. Now that's a lot of 1%ers in America, or just the top earners. But when we talking about putting everybody together, you know, especially like, you know, those certain countries, it's almost like, you know, the 1% in Columbus. You know, the 1% in Columbus could be $100,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's a low income city. And when you talk about, when you put the whole country, when you put, you know, a lot of those countries in Africa and a lot of the countries in China and a lot of North Korea, these folks don't even, you know, they in what they call that, communist in the state.
Yeah, dictatorship. Yeah. They, you know, they don't really have no income. There's a lot of these places. They ain't got no income. But I found that was interesting. Who's controlling you? Ezekiel 36:22-27.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 22. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus said the Lord God, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whether ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgment and do them.
And I look at that, man. I be looking at stuff like that. It's like, man, you know, he gotta make us do it. It's like, hey, I gotta wash this stuff off of you. I gotta put the heart in you. I gotta put the spirit in you. I gotta take away the stony heart and give you a heart of flesh, and cause you to walk in my statutes and keep my judgments. But really, I just wanted to glean from that, having that spirit in you. And of course, this is the Most High trying to control us, man, trying to keep us from doing that foolishness. Trying to keep us, and then on the other end, you have these worldly devices trying to do the opposite. We have these things in our hands that we connected to. We can't go nowhere without that. That handicap us, but at the same time, we trust it. We have a security in those things. Proverbs 3 and 5. Shalaki, I ran over a piece of tape, and when I was driving, the tape just hitting the inside of the darn car. So I'm like, oh man, I got a flash. Pow, 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 pow. And I speed up, it's pow, 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 pow. And I was like, man, I got a flat tire, and I ain't got no spare. I do, but I don't. You ain't really check your spare. How was the last time y'all checked y'all spare? Y'all ain't got to say nothing. But I start thinking, like, while I'm riding, I ain't too far from the house, so I ain't really tripping. I ain't got no anxiety or anything. But again, my mind starts, what can I do? What can I do to get this issue fixed? And even I do have AAA, but I ain't used AAA in so many years. And I got new tires on. I try to, I usually put new tires and just change all the new tires. I don't do the used tire thing. I've been fortunate enough not to play with the used tires. I used to live that life of putting them $20, $25 tires on there, and they lasted a few months, and you end up buying good jacks and so forth. But anyway, all of that depended on the phone. If I didn't have my phone and I got stranded somewhere, it would be a problem. It'd be very problematic for you. But we were doing that. We had flat tires before. Probably had even worse tires before a phone. And even today, my dad had hit the curb yesterday and bust 2 tires. And you think my nephew wanted to learn how to do that? You think he wanted to sit up there and help him do that and try to learn how to do that? Of course not. He didn't want to sit down and help him, get those tires changed, even though he can't even get the tire because the tires got to be ordered. But if we don't have a phone, that little simple problem as a tire being flat, it seems like it just magnifies tenfold without that phone, because we ain't got nobody to call. We ain't got nobody else that we could, if that happens. And so that has stopped us from learning those skill sets and teaching our children those skill sets, because you had to teach your child that, because it could happen. Even your daughter. You know what I'm saying? You had to kind of teach her, hey man, just in case you by yourself, you know how to change that tire. But go ahead, Doc.
This is Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
If we acknowledge him, he's gonna direct our paths. But if we acting like, he ain't existed, and that's what I'm saying, we're supposed to acknowledge him in all things. But if we only doing it when we come to class, or we only doing it when we open the book up, or if our mind ain't constantly on the Lord, constantly on, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, he's not going to direct the paths. Our paths are going to be directed on whatever we meditating on. Isaiah 48 and 17.
All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 17. Thus said the Lord, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord thy God, which teaches thee to prosper, which leadeth thee by the way that thou shouldest go.
That leadeth thee to the way that thou should go. All right, in a way that profit thee. Meditation, Job, Joshua 1 and 8. Sound like that mic finna start acting up, but we got about 2 more slides. Yeah, 2 more slides. And we out of here. Joshua 1 and 8, Proverbs 16:3. Just some quick hitters on meditating on the word.
It's Joshua 1 and 8. And it reads, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
All right, it's meditation. Even in meditation, it works on the left side, it works on the right side. You meditate on evil, you're gonna learn those wicked devices, and that's why these jokers is good at doing these wicked things, man. You know, them became doing, college graduates in wickedness, man, doctorate degrees in wickedness, because that's the things they're meditating on. And we should be meditating on this word, meditating on those things that are good. Proverbs 16:3.
In this book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 3. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established.
All right, you commit your works, your thoughts will be established. Proverbs 23 and 8. Whatever you committed to, that's what's going to establish your thoughts. You committed to the world, you committed to advancing in the metaverse, that's what's going to control your thoughts. And you're going to be out here doing whatever. Who knows? Like, man, when I seen that, for me, it was like, they can get you to do anything. They can get you to, then the AI, it reminds me of that verse, man. I think it's John 12, man. As he increase, I must decrease. And as the AI increases, it's like the human decreases. Where the human is now trying to act like the darn AI. It's trying to be controlled like the AI is. And it's letting, and the AI be the boss, controlling the human. Telling the human what to do. Telling the human what to worship. Telling the human how to worship. Go ahead.
This is Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 1. When thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of the dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings, then fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meat. For as he thinketh is in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words.
And we use that precept a lot. I do. I use it all the time, man. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. But the context is, you sitting down at the table of a rich man. And you're not don't get amazed at his dainties. And that's what a lot of us are gonna sit down with these people. That's what that whole, again, these celebrities, they doing it in real time, but it's gonna be even crazier in that other place, where these billionaires put all of these folks on and show them this lifestyle, and show you this lavish. A lot of folks when they get, like the artists, when they get to sign the contract, they gonna put you in a nice hotel. They gonna try to show you all this luxury stuff, get you to go ahead and sign. Well, I'm gonna sign up for that. I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for that right there, man. That look nice right there, man. But what does it cost? Like, who's that? Gilly, the $1 million worth of game, just lost his son yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Signed $100 million deal, and now his son dead. 2-3 months later. It's like, man, is it? And can you say, did the money do it? You can't really say the money did it, but then it's like, man, did the money do it? Could you separate yourself? And I know those things are hunting them, but I pray get closure and pray that pray for that family, man. But when we chasing, we sit at these tables, man, and we trying to sup with these folks and sup with these principalities and high places. Said like what it said, man. Don't trust him, because for as he thinketh in his heart, that's how he is, and his desire is not. He don't have good intentions for you, and what you gonna eat gonna make you vomit. What you trying to eat, what he gonna say, and it may make you vomit, man. You may vomit that stuff up, but you've been working your whole life to sit down at this table. Instead of supping with the Lord, instead of working your whole life to sup with Christ, to be at the wedding feast. 2 Corinthians 11, 1-3. We see these folks all the time. They calling them influencers, and they controlling. That's what an influencer does. And you like, man, that got to be the easiest job. That stuff looked goofy. That what they were doing out there. And anybody could do it, but it's like, man, I just got too much dignity. I'm not can't be out here. Look, I'm not finna do that for no bread like that. I'm not trying to do nothing like that, man. But Joker's gonna get caught up, man. A lot of people gonna get caught up, man. A lot of people gonna see other people doing it, and again, man, you chasing that bread, and it could be the worst thing. Y'all seen that sister that won that lottery? I think she won a lottery or something. I don't know if it was a real video or fake video. But did somebody win the thing? Because it's supposed to be up to like $1 billion or something.
Yeah, they won in Cali.
Wasn't it a sister?
I don't know.
Well, I seen some sister, man, like she had won the lottery, and everybody, they had cameras with her, and she running away from the cameras and running away from the people, trying to, like, her life is in danger. She started having an anxiety attack, and ran up out of the store, and it's like, yeah, man, your life is in danger. Yeah, you done got that money. That's what tell you, more money, more problem. You done got that money. You're in danger. You got to get away. You cannot be around them same folks. Go ahead. Did we read the part of 2 Corinthians 11?
Not yet. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1. Would to God be called bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a captive virgin to Christ. But I fear thee by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, as your mind should be corrupted from its simplicity as Christ.
And I'm jealous of you, man. I'm jealous for you with a godly jealousy. And we know how the Most High is jealous over us dealing with these other deities and pulling our heart away from them, and it's crazy to get our heart snatched by something that ain't even real, but it's real enough to pull us away from God, man. And I think the church, I think Israelites, I think a lot of us, if we're not bringing awareness to this thing, we're gonna pull these things in to our ministries, and brothers definitely got to be out there preaching in the metaverse, but you can get lost. You can mess around and get lost, just like the clubhouse. And You know, you get lost out there, and that's just all you want to do. That's just all you're doing. It's just blah 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 blah. And before you know it, man, you can't live, you can't function without it. You done stop dealing with your responsibilities at the house. You're not giving your time to your family. And even the video game, you married the video game a problem. You're not playing no video game in peace. All right, I'm talking about when I tell you I'm hardcore. Like, I was standing in line. I was standing in line for the Maddens, for the Call of Duty, for the new game systems, standing in the rain. I was real geeky with it. And I've never dealt with a sister that didn't have a problem with the video game. And it was only the Lord that could get me off of that video game. That was a miraculous feat. And I still have people that still try to call me and be like, man, we need you back. Man, come on back, bro. We need you back in this world, man. Trying to show me the game. I'm like, nah, man. No, I can't come back. And it used to take a lot of my time.
Right.
But you there happy, having the time of your life playing the game, and she bored watching darn what's that channel, man? With all the crimes come on.
A&E.
A&E.
That's right.
Hey, you over there downstairs having the time of your man, it's gonna cause problems, man. It's gonna cause
Hey,
problems.
Salaki.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I used to be on them games too, man. Like Resident Evil.
Yes, sir.
God of War, all that stuff. And then
Yes, sir.
you listen to the report, it'd be like over 100 hours of gameplay.
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about it take a lot of your time, indeed. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Like you didn't even get your money worth. You didn't get 40. You didn't get 40 hours out of it. You didn't get your money. You didn't even get your $60 out of it. But yeah, man, some RPG games and all that. Man, you Joker out there trying to find everything.
Side mission. You got a lot of side missions other than the primary.
Right.
Hours and hours, man.
Oh, love not the world, man. Mark 4 and 18. We gonna close out with this slide, y'all. And when we say that, man, again, don't make these things cliche. What does it mean? What does it look like? What is the world? Are we gonna limit the world to just Christmas and Easter and pagan holidays? Like, what is the world? It goes down to the moral compass, all that stuff, man. Like, the language, the behavior, the communication, like all of that stuff can be worldly. Everything's outside of thus says the Lord is the world. Or let me say that again. Anything opposing thus says the Lord. Because like you say, man, we coming into new technology, certain things that aren't said in there. And people are gonna be I can hear them already. I can already hear them. Show me that in the law. Show me that in the law that I can't have no doing artificial wife. Wow. That's fornication. Me bringing in an artificial. It ain't like I'm sleeping with her. I mean, you having to counsel somebody that's doing, texting, having communication with the darn AI bot more than his wife. She don't understand me. She understand me better. They want them to talk to each other. I think you should talk to each. Like, they're gonna have some crazy conversations. We're gonna have some crazy conversations in the next few years, man. Y'all willing, let's the clouds break and he come forward, but man, I don't look forward to that, man. Mark 4 and 18 through 19. Just on
Mark 4 and 18.
Go ahead.
And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful.
So that word can get squeezed out. And, brothers could be very, strong in this thing, been in this thing so many years, but that other world, if they can get a new life, if their life is not with Christ, and they thinking they done made a new life in the metaverse or whatever coming, that word can get choked out of them, man. That word can easily get choked out of them, and riches can be changed. It's not these riches that we dealing with now. It's another form of currency. We talk about, man, Israel talk about all of this stuff, man, with the New World Order, and they trying to drop the currency. They want a universal currency, and and we can only speculate. You just have to see how these things play out, but we can look throughout time, man. These things, all these technologies have brought us solutions and answers. But for me personally, everybody, got their own opinion. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. It's been worse. The pros don't outweigh the cons. Did I say that right? Yeah. The cons outweigh the pros. It kind of makes it worse. It kind of, some good things that happened to it, but it just made the world worse. It made the world, it made marriages worse. It made families worse. It made communication worse. It just made things worse. But it did have some good things, but it's just hard to monitor your children now. It's hard to monitor what they're doing. It's hard to raise your child. It's hard to raise your child now in this modern world because of all the other influences that they have. Everything they pick up got somebody talking on it, telling them something. You get a watch and it's somebody telling them something in their ear. Telling them they watching something. Everything. The gas station now, the gas pump influencing, it's just that influence coming from everywhere now. But that word to get choked out. First John, John? First John 2 and 15.
The book of 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby ye know that it is the last time.
Con, there's gonna be a lot more. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more false prophets. Man, these jokers is tricking you today with swinging their coat around and everybody passing out, or joker blowing on you and people passing back, going backwards, and these fake miracles and stuff. Imagine what they're gonna be doing in the metaverse. Imagine how they go. Imagine all the foolishness and how all the deception, with the metaverse and AI. John 4 and what is that? Is that John? I can't see.
James 4.
James 4 and 1 through 12. The lust of the flesh. All these things, man, dealing with this world, man.
This is James chapter 4 verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your lusts that war in your members? Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not because ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lusts.
Mm.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore would be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do ye think that the scripture saith in vain, the spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy? But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted, and mourn, and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one to another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother, and judges his brother, speak evil of the law, and judgeth the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another?
Who are you that judge of another? And we gonna have to, look into that and making that harmonize with what's that, John 7:24? Righteous judge of all things, so forth. I have looked into it a little bit. I won't, we'll get into it another time. But that's a lesson in itself, just another lesson that brothers could be doing on judging. Also, grace here. The grace that's used here. Let me find it. But he giveth more grace. The spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy, but he giveth more grace. And this grace here is like a strengthener. It's like a preserver, just like when Paul says, he asked for this thing 3 times for this thorn to be removed. And God said, the Father said, my grace is sufficient. Meaning that, not a time period here, but a strengthening or endurance, so that you can overcome certain things. He can overcome the thorns, and you can overcome your flesh lusting to envy. And I think it's a couple more. I think it's at least 3 or 4. Last time I did grace thing on grace, but it's about 3 or 4 different meanings to grace. But I just wanted to point that out just when we was going through that. But you can't have friendship with the world. You can't be friendly with the world. And again, we kind of bottle this thing up into the relationships with certain people, but it entails a lot of things, man. It entails what we watching, what we listening to, who we talking to, who we listening to, how we're living, where we're living. Like it can involve a lot of things because the world's everywhere, man. It's hard to sever, even the verse about separating ourselves from them. We have to break that down. And what does that look like? What does the separation look like? Is it just us raising cattle and raising food? It got to be more than that. Because even with you eating healthy, it don't mean your brain ain't getting influenced. Don't mean your mind is not being controlled. In the social media, disconnecting ourselves, that's the world too. It's the world too, and it has a lot. It has me. I ain't gonna sit here and flex. Like I spend too much time on social media. I spend too much time on it. And even the social media, it give you that cue. The phone. Why they done made precautions, and they probably didn't make it for us, but they made it precautions for themselves and their children or whatever. That hey man, you done spent 10 hours on this phone this week. They give you that little monitor. I don't know if you Android users. I ain't trying to start no beef or nothing, but I don't know if y'all get to see that. But the iPhone will tell you, hey, you know what? You done spent so amount of hours on this phone, strolling.
Every week.
Every week. Yep. You done spent this strolling. You done spent this reading. You done spent this. And you need to monitor those things. You gotta monitor those things because you can see where your works are being committed. And what's controlling your thought part. But a lot of times we don't want to see it. We don't want to know the information. We don't want to know it because we know some change has to happen. We don't want to know. We don't want to check our blood pressure. We don't want to check our blood sugar because we know some change may have to come. We don't want to go to the doctor. We know some change may have to come with that. I don't even want to know it. I'm feel straight. I feel like I'm good. But and I get it, man. You know, pharmaceutical company is, you know, just some demons too, man, and they can make you feel some kind of way, but it's really placebo, and it's really a metaverse in itself. Hospital is a metaverse. Hospital can be a metaverse. And it's pros and cons to everything. So we got to weigh these things out, but don't run away from the information. Don't run away from examining yourself. You know, from the self-examination and really looking into yourself and seeing these things before, because these things are going to get stronger. They're going to be more enticing. You know, it's going to be more that VR headset is going to be more addictive than the cell phone. They're gonna have that on more than that cell phone. That cell phone will be put down, and they'll be in the they'll have their own phone in the metaverse. But where we at? Did we read that last verse?
We did.
Isaiah 26:3. I'm about to close it down.
This book of Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 3.
God.
Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because
Nah.
he trusted in thee.
And his mind gonna be stayed on thee. Why? Because he trusts in thee. He trusts. That's where his trust lies. That's who he feels gonna get him out of these situations. That's who he feels is gonna protect him. That's who he feels gonna help him overcome. That's his rock, his salvation, his refuge. And I yield with that, man. Y'all brothers, got anything? Or any questions or anything to add?
Our precept,
Con.
this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things and to know the wickedness of folly, which is a lack of good sense, and even of foolishness and madness. You know, madness can be, paired up with depression, insanity, hysteria, frenzy. Same thing you see when we talk about these people in these VR headsets, man. Like what you doing look madness, man. It's foolishness, but the bag attached to it, so it's all right. How you?
Excellent precept. Excellent precept. And like you said, that bag attached to it, so it's cool. And that's what they gonna say back to you. If you try to give them some correction, they'll say, or you try to give your child some correction. You know, Ma, I just made $2,000. I know what you talking about. I get it, Ma. You know, snatch the head goggles off. You know, pop the one. I just made $2,000 over.
Now I'm gonna hand them headset right back.
You beat me to it. Well, here you go. Dude.
You know, Randy got her song.
Yeah, kind.
Everybody need headset. Go ahead, brother.
And this goes back to back in the days when I was in the streets, man. You know, we was in the streets, and you know that some parents know what you're doing. They know what way you're moving. They know what car you're driving. They know what clothes you're wearing, what gear you got on.
Oh yeah.
And they says nothing. They know you're not working nowhere in town now, and they says nothing. And they be the first one with their hands out, man. And that's kind of condoning it without condoning it. My auntie told me one time about my cousin. I'm like, she was like, Well, he need to try a new profession. He called it a profession, right? He need to do a new profession. Like he been selling drugs all this time, and he ain't got no money to show for it. I said, but I'm like, but what about him killing his people, man? Because he sell to his people. What about that? What about the destruction that he doing? Well, still, you know what I mean. He ain't just killing his people; he killing all people. I said, but no, he literally sell to his people. All right, but only thing Monty can see is he did not benefit. It ain't benefiting him to sell drugs, and so that's how with everything else we willing to sell ourselves out. And that's the problem when you was asking earlier about who willing to do this, because at a real man, even if you're going to fill in the application and get a job, you gotta ask yourself at what cost. Like, what time I go to work? What time do I get off? Is it gonna put me away from my family for a long period of time? Do I have vacation time? You gotta count the cost. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we don't do. We don't understand that our soul cannot keep being for sale. It cannot be. No, I was going over that Matthew 6 the other day, man, about these things. Your heavenly Father know what you have need of. And so, and no, and with the last point, I'm a year. When you get to the point of making money, I done been there before, right? A long, long time ago, right? I done been there before where I had more money than I knew what to do with, right? And when you get to that point and you at that level of success where money is flowing, and you gonna still look around with a state of emptiness, because let me tell you, that money do not fulfill you like most people think it is. It's like being in jail and you're away from home cooked meals. And then the minute you get out of jail for the first month, it's good. But after that month, you're going back to the McDonald's, man. You're going back to the Burger Kings and the Wendy's, the fast food, right? Because it's like you don't miss stuff till you don't have it. But once you have it, you see what it's really about. And I you.
Excellent points. Excellent points. Gotta count the costs. And that's what I was saying, talking about them weighing them pros and them cons. With a lot of these technologies, with these advances that we made, we at the point now where the planet ain't paying us. Even if the sky don't crack and the Messiah return in the next 10 to 20 years, man, that sun coming. That sun cooking us, man. He having this thing getting hotter by the day. He breaking records every day on this heat, man, and just how we've destroyed this earth, or how they destroyed this earth with these advances, with the car, but in the airplane and so forth, man. You go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But all of these things have had great consequences on us, on our kids, and definitely will have a greater consequence on the next generations, unless that sky crack, unless that sky crack, then we good. But if that don't happen, within the next 20, man, like I said, we just got to make sure we making aware, making efforts to bring awareness to these new technologies, because a lot of us don't know. The kids ask us for something, we buy it, we don't know what's going on, But man, if anybody got nothing else, we'll yield, man. Israel, y'all be blessed, and enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.
Hey, Shalaki, great lesson, brother.
Yeah, all praise. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.